Hey guys, so this is my first video on this channel. One of my biggest passions is property, and I'm going to use this channel to talk through my experiences, what I've learned, and a bit of experiments on spreadsheets. So for this video, as you already know, most people work 40 hours a week, but at the end of the month, they have very little to show for all of that work. Why is that? What is the reason behind it? Why is it that you get told that the salary is going to be so much, but at the end of the month, it's completely different? Of course, you have taxes, national insurance, but how exactly does it work? We're going to examine it in this video. I've got a spreadsheet prepared that will just talk through some of the salaries, expenses, etc., and hopefully it will give me and you guys a bit more of an idea of how salaries get taxed in the UK. So in this spreadsheet, what we've got is a number of jobs and the average salary for those jobs that I've taken from Indeed.com. So we start off at Project Estimator with a take-home salary of 38,000 a year and end in sort of Specialist Doctor at 106,000 per year. What you can see is going from 38 to 106 is 2.73 times more gross salary. However, the monthly take home goes from 2,439, which is what an estimator actually gets in their pocket, to 5,250, which is what a specialist doctor gets in their pocket, and that's 2.15 times more. So on paper, or your advertised salary increases by 2.7 times. However, your actual take-home pay increases by 2.15 times. So there's a bit of a difference. And the reason for that is because the more you earn, the less tax breaks you get and the more tax you have to pay. That's just the way it is in the UK. So in here, it shows a sort of natural progression in a few different scenarios. So you start off minimum wage. Currently working full time, you'll be making around 24,500, which is 1,700 a month take home. Graduate, 33,000 after uni, seems reasonable. You'll be making just over 2k take home pay per month. If you're doing relatively well mid-career, you'll be in your 60s, 60,000 per year, say 61,000. That's just under 3,500 per month take home. As you go more senior, and if you're doing well, you'll be at say 80k. That's just over 4,000 per month take home. And going up to director or similar sort of level, 120,000. That's about 5,500 a month. Remember that this is very hard to get to. Yes, you can go even higher, you can become CEO, etc. However, this level is very tricky. You'll be having loads of responsibilities and your salary is going to be 5.5 a month, which is debatable. You know, it can be really good, but it will really depend on your expenses. So let's take the mid-career, for example, 61,000. How does it go from 61,000 per year to a take home of less than 3.5? Here's a breakdown. So if you make 61,000 per year, your monthly gross pay is just over 5,000 a month. How nice would it be if you were to keep all of that? But unfortunately, that's not the reality. From that pay, you have to pay pension. I assumed 5%. Some people pay more, but let's say £184. That comes off before tax. You're left with taxable pay of 4.9k. The income tax comes off, taking into account all the brackets and personal allowances. National insurance comes off automatically as well, and then most people have a student loan, so that also comes off your salary. So all in, you can have other things like share, save, cycle to work, contributions, and so on and so forth, but let's not dwell into that. Let's just take the basics. By doing those deductions, you end up from 4.9 taxable pay to just under 3.5. So 61,000 a year, just under 3,500 a month is how it works. Here, I've actually had to re-record this video because ChatGPT gave me some wrong information, so I had to do it all manually, but hopefully this is more correct now. You can see as you start, your sort of lower salary can be 20,000 a year. you'll be taking home just under 1,500. Going up 10k from that, you'll be making an extra £556 a month, so quite a big increase. However, the same 10k increase later on is much less noticeable. For example, as you're going from 110 to 120,000, your actual increase is only going to be £242, which is very, very little, but that's just how it works. Again, another thing to keep in mind is as you get higher and higher, it's also hard to get the promotions, because at 80 to 100k, you'll already be very senior in most industries. So passing that barrier, going into 120 to 100, it's a lot of responsibilities and it's very difficult. But hopefully in here you can see that if you want to be making, for example, 3k a month, you'll actually need to be making 50k a year. If you want to have nice cars, houses, and you want to make 10k a month, that's, you're not even asking to be a millionaire here, but at 10k a month you need to be making 250,000 a year. So the more your expenses and the more that you need, the more crazy your gross salary has to be. And that's just how it is in this country, and that just gives you a bit of a background of, as you keep going up in £10,000 increments, which is a lot, your monthly pay difference isn't actually that huge. So now let's have a look at some expenses. You're getting whatever salary it is, you're getting whatever take-home pay it is. What are you going to spend it on? So looking at scenario 1, you are going to be sharing with somebody. So you might have just finished uni, you and your mate are going to share a house or a flat together. The rent is £1,000 a month, so you chip in 500 each. So if that was the case, let's see how much you spend. You would spend the 500 rent, you would pay half the council tax, half the utilities, half the internet TV license, half the insurance. You would then have your mobile, you'll need a bit for transport, trains, buses, taxis. Food 150, very conservative for a very small amount, I think, for having a good diet, but I try to save money, be sensible, 150 a month. Entertainment, which got a little bit in there, clothes, bare essentials, holidays £100 a month, so maybe one holiday per year, and then your Netflix and stuff like that, which all in adds up to about 1,200. So just to cover sort of basics, you're at 1,200. If you want to live that sort of lifestyle, you need to be making around 20k per year. Then you want to live yourself, you want to have a place to yourself, and still you're going to have to be tight, but not as tight. So let's have a look at that. Your rent or mortgage, I've taken Birmingham as an example, it's going to be £1,000 a month. You're then going to have your council tax, gas, electric, internet, insurance. I assume no service charge, no additional fees, etc. Just the bare basics. Your mobile will stay the same, transport a little bit more, food a little bit more, entertainment a tiny bit more, clothes, again, everything a slightly bit more, maybe a bit more holidays as well. Again, £180 a month, you're not going to be traveling like crazy, but you'll be able to go maybe a couple of times a year. So if you want that sort of lifestyle, you need 2,000 a month, which is about 35,000 per year. And then if you want to be even more comfy, increase rent, so a slightly bigger flat or house, similar sort of bills, a bit more money on food, a bit more reasonable, more healthy clothes and holidays, probably where a lot of people want to be as an average. They'll probably want to go beyond, but for that you're at 2.75k a month, which is 50k salary per year. Again, this is approximate, but that just gives you an idea of the lifestyle versus the salary that you need. If you're watching this from London, this rent or mortgage figure will be absolutely insane, and the salary that you need will be a lot higher as a result as well. So what are the takeaways from this video? One is, as your salary gets higher, you're breaching into different tax brackets and you have to pay more tax as a result. I would urge you to learn about the tax brackets. I will put them on the screen right now for England and Scotland, so have a look at it, study them. They're very important and they impact a lot on the lifestyle, and understand what you need to pay. Also, I recommend utilising ShareSafe. A lot of companies have ShareSafe schemes, cycle to work schemes, and pension schemes where you can contribute more of your pre-tax income into something that will benefit you, like a bike or some shares in the company or your pension. Whenever looking at promotions and progression in your career, always look at your take-home pay. So whenever you're made or doing well in your career, when you're taking that next step, sometimes the pay rise seems significant, but the take-home pay difference will only be a few £100 a month. So always look at that and say, is it worth me doing all of this extra work for this much extra? It might not be all about money, it might be about experience development, but something to keep in mind. And the last thing is consider being self-employed and opening a business. I haven't done that yet. It's something that I don't know if I'll ever do, but I just know that there's a lot of advantages of having your own business or being self-employed. You're more in control of your tax, how the money gets spent, etc. However, you don't have that safety net of a job. You have to do your own pension, your own holidays. You're less likely to be approved for a mortgage. So there are pros and cons that I'll touch on in a different video. Well, with all that in mind, I hope you liked this video. Hopefully that gave you a bit more of an insight. It's also interesting for me to navigate through these things, and I'm also learning as I'm making those videos. Please comment with what you think is a reasonable salary anywhere in the UK. How much do you think people should earn to have a comfortable living? And any other thoughts that you have. I'll be doing more of those videos, sort of Excel from home and a bit of figuring stuff out. So I hope you like them. Any feedback, any improvements that you want me to make, let me know. How much you get paid versus what you take home. So the way the salaries are is, what am I trying to say? Hey everyone. As a graduate, that's not right. So this is actually, I don't think this is a graduate, I think this is mid-career. So I need to change that one.
I'm telling them that this is the first time our hobby does a video, so be kind to him. And also we both have COVID, and just so you know, he does have experience, however, he was using ChatGPT.